Hi gang, Rob here. It is the afternoon of 6 April 2020. A Monday afternoon, 66 degrees and bright sunshine. Coming to you with today's socially distant vlog from Shove Park on the northeast side of Fort Wayne. You might notice lots of people milling around on a beautiful spring day. Even though we're under a stay-at-home order in the state of Indiana, it seems that outdoor areas are still fair game, free to be used. People, of course, encouraged to maintain 6-foot intervals between other folks. Yeah, we're in kind of a tense time, I think, in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic right now. People are starting to get a little twitchy, a little stressed, a little cranky. And I've noticed on various forms of social media that even during all the concern and stress over the COVID-19 virus, we haven't stopped bickering about political issues. And in fact, in some ways, it's intensified. I posted something on Facebook yesterday afternoon, just kind of venting about this, and I wanted to expand it into a video today. I want everyone to ask themselves, if today you would like to change places with your mayor or your governor or your president or the chief of staff at your local hospital or your police chief, any of these people. I, for one, would not. It's no secret to those of you who watch my channel with regularity that I'm a conservative patriot, that I generally support Republican candidates for public office. It's no secret that I was and am a supporter of President Donald Trump. I don't live in the city limits, but I live in a large metropolitan area with a Democrat mayor, who I don't like very much on many political issues. No one's going to hear me complain about him right now. There are two aspects of life in America that we need to be mindful of right now. The first one, you may not agree with or believe. And I'll tell you about it, but I'll quickly move on. I believe that we have a true and living God in the universe who created this world, whose guiding hand keeps it running in an extremely precise way, who intervenes in the daily lives of everyone in his creation, that by his will and by his hand, sometimes by what he allows to happen, nothing surprises him. He either causes it to happen or allows it to happen. Everything. Including the virus. I've talked about that before, but it's not the direction I'm going today. What I am going to say is that every person in a position to help, every person in a position of governmental authority, every doctor, every nurse, every scientist who are working 20, 22 hours a day to try to find a solution to this pandemic are all in the positions they're in because God ordained it to be so. Now, you may not believe that, but you should believe this if you're an American citizen. We live in the almost 250-year-old legacy of the founders of the United States of America. 233 years, I believe, since they drafted the document that is the framework for our system of laws, the U.S. Constitution. They gave us, I believe, by God's provision, a system of government that allows us, the people, either directly or by extension, the power to determine who's in charge on the local level, on the county level, on the state level, on the national level. There are people who are in positions of authority, in positions we have put them in, because we put them there. And now we are a nation under siege. We are one nation under siege. And the people whom we have put in charge are under a tremendous burden because of the oaths of office they took, specifically our political leaders. They are charged with protecting us. And I believe to a man or woman, each of those people has a hard time falling asleep every night right now, wondering if they have discharged that duty to the best of their ability and by the framework that they were given in which to do their jobs. It's up to us as American citizens in unified fashion to respect the authority that those people have been given, to quietly follow instructions, supportively adhere to the decisions that are being made by these folks, and to help each other. We are a nation under siege by an invisible enemy, the COVID-19 virus. It is putting Americans in the hospital. It is killing Americans. We have put in place people whose job it is to find a solution to this, to protect as many lives as possible, and to protect our economic system at the same time. And right now, those are two competing agendas. And these people are all doing the best that they can to satisfy both polar goals. It does no one any good at all, to be second-guessing them vocally, deriding them, making public statements, attacking them. They are where they are because we put them there, and now it's their job to help us. And in the words of Tom Cruise, paraphrased, it's time for us to help them help us. It is not time for us to make it more difficult for them to do their jobs. You know, we can deconstruct this after we're out of the woods. I would hope that even then we do so in a spirit of creating policies and systems which make us more able to deal with something like this in the future, not to find places to lay blame. But, you know, back to my original question, how would you like to be your president right now? How would you like to work 20 hours a day, providing for the common defense, protecting Americans, without letting our economy spiral out of control to a point where it has a hard time coming back? How would you like to be the guy in charge of that? And in the midst of your 20-hour day, you walk into a press room for an hour and a half or 2 hours with the foremost experts in the world at your side, trying to disseminate valuable information and instructions to the American people. And then you have to pause and respond to political shots fired at you by a room full of smirking morons who wake up every day with one goal in mind, and they have for the last 5 years, to destroy your presidency. to them, this pandemic, on one level, is nothing more, nothing less than another piece of bad news that it's their job to turn against President Donald J. Trump in order that he can be removed from office, no longer by impeachment probably, but by the electoral process in November. You know, the people whose responsibility it is to disseminate news to us, factual information, don't even bother to think about doing that anymore. They have an opportunity to make Donald Trump look bad and make his life difficult at a time where every ounce of his energy is being put into keeping us safe from this virus. And whether you like him or whether you don't. And I will say this without reservation. If this had happened 6 years ago and Barack Obama were still president, I would be making this same video. If his opponents in the media and in politics were reacting to this crisis like the left is reacting to the COVID-19 pandemic. There is just not time for this right now. You know, if you disagree with the minutia or the policies that are being implemented to fight the virus, it's time for you to shut up and follow instructions. Be vocal later. You know, when everybody's healthy and the virus is under control and it's treatable and we have a vaccine and you want a Monday morning quarterback how Donald Trump or your governor or your mayor handled the COVID-19 pandemic, have at it. It's America. But it's also America, full of free citizens who are supposed to recognize when their country is under siege and band together as a nation of patriotic Americans to fight the invader. It's not time to question the commander-in-chief. You know, did we question Franklin Roosevelt in 1941? Did the media attack every decision he made, hoping that they could help elect a Republican president in wartime? No. Stop. You know, I made a suggestion in my Facebook post that we should watch the news right now to gather information about what we can do as each individual citizen to help defeat this invader. And when we're watching a source of news information that turns into political squabbling and tripe and the advancing of a political agenda, turn it off. And then take that time that you would have used to watch the news and think of ways that you can help other people and go out and do it. Think about ways you can help keep your community safe by your own personal conduct. And when you find people in need, think about ways you can help them and then help them. We need to stop wasting our energy fighting political fights that mean absolutely nothing right now. Absolutely nothing. We need to remember we're the ultimate governing authority at the ballot box. In the meantime, by our system that we love, adore, and respect, we have people in place to do jobs. If we're not helping them do their jobs in a time like this, we are part of the problem. If we can't help, we need to sit down and shut up and let them go to work. That's all I have to say about that. I do continue to pray that each one who hears my voice and sees my ugly mug on the YouTube is being spurred to draw near to God during this time. You know, our mortality, the end of our physical life on earth, collectively is never more real than it is in a time like this. Eternity comes to mind, doesn't it? The good news is this 70 years or so that we spend on this spinning orb is the blink of an eye for the true and living God. He wants us with him for the rest of time. If we don't know him during this time, it's a great time to get to know him. We got plenty of time. If we do know him, we need to be thinking about ways to glorify him among the people of this world whom he loves. My family and I pray that daily. I ask other people who know the Lord to do likewise. Grace to you and peace, my friends, from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. Remember, the word is sharp. And God bless America.